Informativos de la semana y también ahora detectamos inversiones sostenibles, inversiones de impacto y que tienen en cuenta los criterios ESG de gobernanza social corporativa y con una contribución a la huella de carbono. Inversiones que no solo obtengan rendimiento, sino una huella positiva. Eso lo vamos a hacer con Ji Shi, especialista en inversión temática medioambiental en Pictet Asset Management. Ji, good morning, good afternoon, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Well, here we go, COP29. At what point do we reach the climate summit? Do you think, G, he's leaving important, ambitious commitment?
The UN Convention, Framework Convention on Climate Change. Now, traditionally, the objective of this COP, right, COP, the Conference of Party, is to bring the world together and try to take some action on climate crises. Now, every COP has a priority. This COP has its own priority, and some people call it the finance COP, meaning because this particular COP is trying to get the nations to come together to secure climate finance, right? It's to find the money to actually invest in taking climate actions. Now, to do that, it requires commitments from around the world. And also, interestingly, this is also the year of 2024 is called the triple COP year, because in October, in November now, and then in December, there's going to be 3 conference of parties on 3 different environmental issues, one on biodiversity loss, and one on climate change, which is happening right now in Baku, Azerbaijan. And then there is one more on land degradation that's happening in Saudi Arabia later. So this is a year where people are not just looking at one issue, they're looking at several interlinked issues, which is climate change, biodiversity loss, land use, or land degradation. So in a case like this, we first have to ask ourselves, okay, when we think about climate, is no longer just one single issue. It's a number of different things, right? It is what is our society's impact on the different parts of the planet. And there is already, thankfully, there's already a scientific framework around this. It's called planetary boundaries. It looks at our planet in 9 different boundaries, including climate change, including biodiversity loss, which are currently being addressed by the nations around the world. Now, you were asking a very good question. Your question is, well, given what's happening these days, right? So, for example, Argentina put out their negotiator for COP29. France's environmental minister decided not to attend. And then you have the question of US election, which usher in President Donald Trump's second term, which can have implication on the climate change collaboration around the world. So maybe we can start there, right? So in terms of what does that mean? So first of all, I think we need to take for all the audience that's watching this today, we need to take a step back and ask ourselves the question: is planet political? No. The planet is politically agnostic. There is no left-wing planet. There's no right-wing planet, right? If I were to use the symbol of Valencia, which is a bat, right? The bat cannot fly if it doesn't have if it only has one wing. So there's no left wing or right wing. Everybody has to work together to solve the problem. In the meantime, it is not something that belongs to the bureaucrats or the technocrats, right? It's not something far out there. It is for us. It is actually very much relevant to the individuals. And we don't have to look far across the country, Spain itself, to look at the very terrible and heartbreaking disasters happening in terms of extreme floods in Valencia. So in cases like this, we have to ask ourselves, is it worth it to not work together on this kind of issue? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, the truth is that more and more investors concerned about environmental factors, and companies incorporate these criteria when selecting companies. Where do you see the biggest opportunities based on these ESG criteria?
And I would say that the biggest opportunity is not necessarily has to link to the words, the 3 words, the 3 letters, ESG. It's not really about ESG. It's about the solutions itself. It's about what kind of technologies can we invest in that can solve that can solve some of these planetary problems, such as climate change. And it's also about finding the companies that are actually making a profit, right? You have to be sustainable as a company. to actually for investors to invest in and make benefits. You know, every time we ask ourselves, you know, we go to our financial advisor at your local bank, or you look at your retirement savings account, right? Or you're looking at your life insurance and you ask yourself, where does my money go? What is my legacy for my children and grandchildren that I'm leaving behind, right? Hard-earned money for the workers and farmers in Spain, in Italy, in every other country on the planet. They shouldn't be asking, what is my money doing with climate change? No, the question is, where is my money investing in? Which company is it investing in? And what kind of solutions are those companies doing to solve some of these climate problems? So most of the time, people, when think about, you know, sustainability or ESG, they think about renewables. They think about EVs, right? They think about solar, they think about wind, they think about EVs and batteries. These are very obvious things. But the things that are not obvious, but are probably even more important, is areas such as efficiency, right? Energy efficiency, water infrastructure, pollution control. You know, some of these other areas, and even softwares. There are even softwares that are dealing particularly with improving designs of our cars, of our houses, of many things to reduce costs and improve efficiency.
What is the PICTEC Global Environmental Opportunities Strategy? What is the investment vehicle?
Yes, so we launched the Global Environmental Opportunity Strategy in 2014, and it's specifically to invest in environmental solutions providers. So that means making things more efficient and protecting the integrity of our planet. Addressing the companies are basically trying to help their customers reduce their carbon emissions, their waste, right? Help them recycle, help them reduce water use, the things that we can relate to even just sitting in our own kitchen. We're using water, we are producing waste, we are using energy that generates emission. How do we save the money on our utility bill? That is the same question that every single company right now in a cost elevated environment and a high interest and elevated interest rate environment, they're asking themselves the question, how do I cut the cost on the different things that I'm producing, right? Making sure that I'm making things more efficient. And this is what planetary, the Global Environment Opportunity Strategy is trying to invest in. It takes into account of every company's life cycle impact across the 9 planetary boundaries of the world, and that's decided by, you know, that's created by a group of scientists since 2009. It's published on the Nature journal, and we have pioneered that. And for the past 10 years, we've been generating that return. You know, and currently, you know, over 10 years, annualized return of this strategy is around the same as MSCI equity at about 10% annualized, right? And then year to date, we also deliver about 13% on a euro basis. So a strategy like this ultimately is trying to help our mom and pops and our clients to find ways to invest into solutions that address these very existential threats that's going to face our children, our grandchildren in the future.
Very, very shortly, how is the fund performing profitability in this decade and this year?
Yeah, I mentioned it's about 10.5% annualized return over the past 10 years. So we just reached our 10-year anniversary. And then year-to-date performance is about 13% absolute return. It is very important to know that, you know, the market right now is fairly concentrated on a couple of stocks. They're mostly big tech technology stocks. But we also need to know that because of the increase of use of AI and data center, there's a big bottleneck for power. And we need to invest in solutions that reduce energy consumption of these data centers, of these AI places, so that everyone else that's living in the country is not going to see an increase in utility bills.
Ji Shi, especialista en inversión temática medioambiental en PICTEC Asset Management. Thank you for serving us in Negocios TV.
Thank you very much.
Y continuamos poniéndonos en acción. Ahora hacemos